Hi everyone. Well, for the minimal people that are actually here, I think this T-shirt with the stormtroopers from Star Wars, just the exact same expression for every emotion you can think of, is probably accurate right about now. Anyone who's watching, first of all, tell me in the comments, can you hear me? Hopefully you're able to. I figured I would do a live stream instead of making a video, which I have to quickly edit and all that, because quite frankly, I'm too lazy for that. So but yes, I wanted to just quickly jump on here for maybe half an hour, or maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, depends how the chat goes, just to talk about the appointment of Michael Beale as Sunderland's new head coach, which is, and I've just got the statement on the screen in front of me, which I'll read in a minute. But yeah, first of all, how's everybody doing? Get in the comments and see what happens. I imagine a fair few people are not going to be particularly enthused by this appointment, but we'll have to just get on with it and see what happens. But yeah, it's finally over. The wait for a new head coach is finally over, and we've settled on Michael Beale when we were linked with the likes of Will Still. Day has gotten significantly worse since 2:30 p.m. Yeah, quite a few people won't be enthused by it either. But I mean, this is dedication, because I'm doing this and I've got to get ready for work not long afterwards. But I figured I would jump on for half an hour. So, but yeah, we've gone from like Julian Sable, I think. I can't remember his first name, but Sable and Still. We've gone from them to Beale, which is going to be quite interesting. Paul Cook, was the same feeling when Tony Mowbray come in, give the man a chance. How are the lads? Yes, I agree with that. I'm not enthused by the appointment, but that's mainly because of one of my close friends who is a Sunderland fan but watches a lot of Rangers, and the things he said about Beale, some of the things there are a bit of a concern, but at the same time, he might have learned from mistakes at Rangers. We don't know. So as Paul says, yeah, you got to give him a chance. I'm going to. He's got the coach's job, so we'll wait and see. Here we go. We're starting to get behind him. Serious. I will get behind him, but I can't remember the last time I had so little enthusiastic about a manager. David Jobling, disaster. This manager is no good for Sunderland. No, Gammons. I love that name, actually. We're here now, so I guess we can do nothing but back the lads and hope this goes better than we anticipate. I agree. Paul Cook, I'm not mate either, but it's out of our control. Yep, bang on. Bang on. It is out of our control. We can't affect it. It's well, not directly in the meantime anyway. We've just got to get on with it. Blimey, 45 people are watching. I think I suggest that many people aren't very happy with this. Zillion DJ. I told you I'm crap at pronouncing names. How long do we think he'll last? Josh Stanley, Dodds named assistant head coach. Hashtag justice for Dodsey. Let's get the likes button. Let's get the likes tally going up, guys. It would be much appreciated. How long do we think he'll last, DJ? I don't know. It depends how he does. He can win on January the 6th for a start and not be crap in the league, I suppose. That would definitely earn him some brownie points with Sunderland fans. Let's see. Dodds named assistant head coach. Would have preferred Dodds. Yeah, well, this is the cheap option thing that everyone seems to want to go on about. And make no mistake about it, it's cheaper than getting someone like Will Still with the compensation, which there's definitely not. Those claims definitely are not invalid, I think, in that regard. But yeah, let's read the statement before I continue more comments. Right, Sunderland AFC is delighted to announce the appointment of Michael Beale as the club's new head coach. Beale has signed a contract until the summer 2026 at the Stadium of Light and started his role on Monday, in other words today, returning to coaching 2 months after leaving Rangers Football Club. After an exceptional spell leading the first team on an interim basis, Mike Dodds has taken the next step in his pathway and been promoted to the role of assistant head coach. Michael Proctor and I know I'm going to get this wrong, Alessandro Barcherini, see, I told you I'm awful, will continue in their respective roles as the club strives to build beyond the foundations established throughout the past 2.5 seasons. Beale's career started with an immensely successful 15-year tenure in the academies of Chelsea and Liverpool, where he contributed to the development of a host of elite talents, including Declan Rice, Reece James, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. After leaving his mark on many of the players currently shaping the identity of the Premier League and England's national team, he undertook assistant roles at Sao Paulo, I think, Rangers, and Aston Villa before being appointed manager of Queen's Park Rangers in June 2022. A 10-month tenure in Scotland followed for Beale, who guided Rangers to the 2023 Scottish League Cup final and departed Ibrox Stadium with the highest top-flight win percentage in 77.42% in the club's history. Now, here's where we get the quote. Christian Speakman said, we have monitored Michael's career for some time and we are delighted to have reached an agreement with him to become our new head coach. He has an excellent and well-founded reputation for developing players, and he is an outstanding progressive coach who is aligned with our playing identity and naturally fits within our structure alongside Mike Dodds and the wider team. We continue to trust in our established process of identifying the right candidates to take us forward at these junctures, and although Michael has had a setback, We feel we are getting him at the right time, basically, for his coaching journey and our journey as a club. Beale added, "It's a huge honour to be joining the Sunderland family, and I would like to thank Carol, Christian, and the rest of the executive team for the faith and responsibility they have placed in me. The existing coaching team deserve huge credit for the way they have navigated the interim period, and like all the staff at the club, they will continue to be vitally important moving forward alongside the incredible fans that make SCFC such a historic and unique club." If it's clear that there is some excellent work being done at senior and academy level, and I'm excited to support those efforts and implement my own ideas as we build on the strong identity already established within the club. Kyle Louis Dreyfus concluded, "I'm thrilled to welcome Michael to our club and wish him every success here at the Stadium of Light. Throughout our discussions, it was clear that he shares our ideals in implementing a high-performance culture, and he is committed to a playing style that we feel is central to our progress. I would also like to place on record my genuine gratitude to Mike Dodds and our coaching team for not only leading us through the interim period, but for adopting a bold and creative approach that inspired memorable back-to-back wins. Alongside Michael, I truly believe our people will continue to drive the club forward as we enter 2024 with renewed energy, excitement, and optimism." Wow. That was a long statement. Okay, then. So that statement was probably about 10 or so bloody paragraphs long. Are you sure it's not Michael Bowers instead? One of my mates put a tweet over the weekend and said they'd rather have me than Michael Beale, which they unfortunately deleted. Cheers, mate, if you're watching. But yeah, you know what? Imagine that. If I was bloody head coach, we'd be down in League One next season, absolutely guaranteed. And nobody wants to be in that doldrum ever again. Let's quickly get some more comments. Paul Cook, "I'm glad Dodd didn't get the job. I think he's done class since he took over, but I definitely think he has a coach to help is a coach to help the manager come in. 2026, what are we smoking? Death sticks from Star Wars. Let's see. Just wonder how the players will react. Edwin, I'm okay about it, Michael. Sunderland are die. How are the lads? My Michael, mate. Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. We've just got to get behind him now, unfortunately. Great writing there for Speakman's statement by Chat Got GPT. What? Okay, maybe I'm interpreting that wrong. Premier League with Michael Bowers. Okay, so all right, Cameron. All right, it's Casey Cameron Jude, Sheffield Wednesday's biggest fan. All right, Michael, mate. This is a crazy appointment. I'm happy for Josh to get the assistant coach job. Martin Smith, I'd rather have had Ian Beale. Henry, sacked from both previous jobs, says it all. Lee J Music, people are quick to judge Beale. Yeah, there's quite a lot of judgment going on, isn't there? I think I've made it clear over the weekend I'm not particularly enthused, and I think one of the reasons, and by the way, I'm prepared to give him a chance, obviously, because he's the new Sunderland head coach. We want him to succeed because we want Sunderland to do well. But a couple of things from the Rangers' point of view that I've noticed, and again, my mate told me this, and I think you won't mind me saying on camera that I think it's a funny one. I think with Beale, one of the things that he did say is that he feels he might cause discontent among the camp. Another one is that sometimes when the going gets tough, he's stubbornly persisting with the same way of playing, like which was, as much as I like Tony Mowbray, that was one of my criticisms of him. Now, I hope the optimist in me hopes that Beale's learned from that and will be able to adapt in certain games. Time will tell how he does here, but again, how he does in previous jobs shouldn't dictate how he might do here necessarily. He's got his own job to do. He's got to make sure. DJ says if he loses his first 4 games, it's going to be hell on. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's got to get off to a good start. Yorkshire Mackham, Newcastle fans have every right to laugh at us with disappointment. Edwin, are you at a Coventry game Saturday, mate? Yes, I am. Got a season ticket at Sunderland. And very quickly, although probably kind of a nutcase for it now, I've got the ticket for the game against them lot up the road, which is going to be hilarious. Maybe not necessarily for the right reasons. Exactly. Michael Bowers got sacked from PSG, but doesn't matter. It's about now, not the past. Yeah. By the way, for those of you looking, is a Leicester fan, and I've been commenting on and Leicester fan channel. We do a championship panel review show basically every Sunday, and he's always in the comments, and I love the support from the guy. Ian Banks, this really is a mediocre appointment. Connor Wilson, but then again, if he wins his first 4 games, everyone will be loving him. That's just football in general. It's a results business. Casey, Cameron Jones, you're saying me, Mount Bowers. Oh yeah, good on you, Casey. Yeah, I'm glad that you and Nikki have got tickets for the Newcastle game. Cameron says he got the sack at QPR in this division, didn't he? No, he didn't. He basically walked out to go to Rangers. That's one of the things that I think with Beale. Look, everyone knows how much, for example, I hate Alex Neil and still do. Because one of the reasons that you've walked out on Sunderland essentially to go to a smaller club or one that's, and I'm not saying Stoke are small, by the way, because they're not, but they're smaller than Sunderland, in my opinion. But with Michael Beale, for those of you who don't know, basically when he was at QPR, there was the rumours that he was linked with Wolves, and one of the quotes that he came out with when he apparently rejected Wolves was that I can't. Well, Peter Griffin, interesting. Hope Lois is all right. Yeah, I don't even watch Family Guy, but I do know the main characters. But one of this comes to back to it here. He declined Wolves and came out with the quote saying, I can't preach, what's the word I'm looking for? Camaraderie, loyalty, togetherness, blah, 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 and be the first person to jump ship, which in some senses is commendable in a lot of ways. So it's quite good to see in that regard. But then, of course, a couple of weeks later, Rangers come calling, and then he straight away jumps ship. And while you can say Rangers are a bigger club than QPR, whatever scale you want, you're still going to the Scottish Premier League, even though you are getting European football, to be fair. But it just doesn't look good doing that. At the end of the day, that's the one thing. And let's get on to Peter Griffin's comments. So I want to read them. So I'm just trying to see if I can get up to them. Hang on. Right, here we go. I'm a QPR. So this is a QPR fan. See if anyone who's interested who's watching. I'm a QPR fan. My only worry for you is his lack of loyalty. Head got turned when Wolves came in for him, then jumped ship as soon as Rangers came in for him. He was never sacked from QPR. He was headhunted by Wolves and Rangers, but declined Wolves and went to Rangers in the end. Right, Peter. Out of interest, then, what is? I want to know, Peter, from your perspective, from a QPR fan, because you're probably a better position to judge than I certainly am. What was he like tactically? What was he like in terms of style of play, in terms of man motivation, in terms of high performance and all that sort of stuff? The thing I would say is the things I've heard that apparently QPR's XG were going downhill before Beale left. And then obviously since going to Rangers, one of the biggest criticisms of Beale at Rangers was his recruitment, in that he recruited very poorly, replacing players that were going out, such as Alfredo Morelos and Ryan Kent and Glenn Kamara and all that sort of stuff. The thing I would say to counter that is, if that was his main criticism at Rangers, that was his head of recruitment, then he's going to be a head coach here, not a manager. And I think that's definitely something worth pointing out. Connor Wilson recruitment won't be an issue as he's not even in control of that. Well, exactly, Connor's got a good point. That's what I mean. He's not going to be in charge of recruitment here. And although Speakman and Harvey do deserve criticism over the strikers, absolutely. I think they do deserve credit overall for the overall standard of recruitment that have come in. But so Beale's not going to have any control of that. I guess, and this is probably in some ways going to highlight more what his credentials as a coach actually is. Let's have a quick look. Let's try and see if we can. Let's go back to some of the comments. Casey, I'm buzzing for that game. Yeah, I bet you are. Didn't want Newcastle, but now we've got them barcodes. Let's bring them on. I've got respect for Newcastle, but I really don't like them. John T, our management clearly lack ambition. Lee J Music, no wonder what team he'll put out for the Newcastle game. Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting when it comes to it. Connor, so never sat. Oh yeah, Connor never sat by QPR. I've read that one. Yorkshire Macam, wouldn't be surprised if we do a Leeds and be in the Championship for a long time. Someone reply, Connor, do a Leeds. Haven't they just got relegated from the Prem? I think what he means is that Leeds were in the Championship for something like, and I might be misquoting this, but something like 16, 17 years. I might be wrong. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm in the live chat if I'm wrong on that, because I very well might be. David John, Mike Dodds, I'm pleased to get the right-hand man. I was supposed to give the manager a chance. Henry, makes no sense to sack Mowbray then get this guy. Not the message we wanted to send out. Serious sideways step. Ian, he had QPR flying, so there has to be some coaching acumen. But he did do them dirty by basically lying to them. Yeah, I don't blame QPR fans for being annoyed at that, because you can't say I preach loyalty and stay and then bugger off the first chance you get. If we hate Alex Neil for that, then I can completely understand why QPR fans don't feel Michael Beale basically did the dirty on them, because he did. The way that he left them, he did. Next one. Kevin, we haven't seen that before. Kai, give him a chance. Yep, absolutely. To answer another question from Kai, how long do you think he'll last? As cliched as it sounds, it depends on results, doesn't it? If he doesn't start well, then don't be surprised by the end of the season if he isn't here. Louise Brown, bad decision. It'll all end in tears. KLD is not a soft mind. Matthew Watson, not the best appointment. However, at this stage, can only judge him on how he does for us. But his first 3 games a week are crucial. Minimum 6 points or he'll be crucified. Colin Wilson, right. Louise Brown has a crystal ball. Right, Peter, here's the comment from Peter I'm interested in. He did get us top of the league with pretty much the same group of players that have been shocking this season. When his head got turned, our form dropped off a cliff. Now, was it the moment his head got turned? Now, is it? Am I wrong to just look at it from that perspective? Again, you'll know more than me, Peter, so that's why I'm asking. But honestly, Yorkshire Macman, Beale is a Lee Johnson 2.0. Oh, Sean Middleton's going to love that. Oh, God. Ian Wilkes-Obi doesn't listen to Dodds as new number 2. Vardy versus Rooney. Oh, yeah, good luck tonight, mate, because you guys have Birmingham away, don't you? So, wait and see. Can't wait for Vardy to do the Is Vardy injured for this game tonight? Or am I making that up? Mad moderator. Well, he's new head coach now. Let's see what he can do. If not, Dodds can get another goal, lol. We'll see. Connible's my only issue is that his head being turned is that when things seem to not go so well. Carl Lawson, underwhelming appointment. Yorkshire Macklin before Leeds went to the Premier and the Championship for 16 years. DJ Beale reminds me of Colback, but as a manager. Kai, honestly, I'm nervous but excited. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm assuming you're talking for the Newcastle game. No, it does make sense, actually. Do you even know who Beale is? How are they anything like? Okay. Yeah, so my opinion is, look, I'm underwhelmed because of the stuff I've heard with regards to Rangers. But when you take a step back and look at it, he was in charge of recruitment at Rangers, and he will not be in charge of that here. It'll be Speakman and it'll be Harvey scouting the players and sorting the players out. This is where his coaching credentials are going to be tested because there's no focus on recruitment with Beale. It's all strictly on, as a head coach, how good actually he is, basically. So, and make no mistake about it, we probably went for this guy because he's out of work, because he'll be a free option, basically. I'll tell you one thing, though. I disagree when people will say this is being a cheap option, though. Not because of the fact we paid money to appoint him, because we obviously haven't, but because if he does really, really bad and we sack him, he's got a contract for 2.5 years, and we're going to have to pay that up big time. So we'll wait and see. Matthew Watson, the thing is, we're very data driven, so there's got to be something here they like. And with what happened with Neil, I would be surprised if they didn't mention the head coach turning to get an idea of why. Kai, Beale era, yeah. Connor, have you seen how Villa players spoke of him? They obviously gone up levels under Emery, but they all rated him. Well, again, this is where his coaching credentials are really going to be tested. That's all I'll say. But in terms of his start, so for those of you, basically, let's put it this way. We've got, obviously, Coventry at home on Saturday. Then we've got Hull away on Boxing Day, Rotherham away a few days after that, and then Preston at home before we play Newcastle. So in the first 4 games, you need to get probably at least 2 wins, really. Ignore the fact there was a bike going off in the distance. I don't know whether you heard it, but we need to get off to a good start. Absolutely. I'd imagine that he probably knows this. I'd imagine the club probably are not naive to the fact that there was been a bit of a less than enthusiastic reaction over the weekend, and knows that he's going to have to really start well. I think one of the other things about Beale that my mate told me with Rangers is that one of the things is that he lost the big games. Now, I mean, some people said that I think that Beale had Rangers finishing 3rd in a 2-horse race in the SPL. That's not true. I'm pretty sure Rangers finished 2nd last year, which still isn't good enough, by the way. They finished well behind Celtic. But to say he finished 3rd in a 2-horse race, nah, not for me. I think that, and again, unless Rangers did finish 3rd last season, then I'll apologise for that if I end up being wrong, but I'm pretty sure they finished 2nd. Not that that's a ringing endorsement, though. But he needs to start well in this game. He needs to, so we really do genuinely need to start well. I think for me, when you look at Coventry at home, arguably should be a win, but Coventry are no mugs. Hull away is going to be very, very tricky. Rotherham, I mean, Kai says easily get a result from Rotherham. Yeah, to be honest, our away form is another thing that vastly needs to be sought out, because I think we haven't won away from home since the end of September, for goodness sake. Since we beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0, that's the last time we won a game away from home. And ultimately, that isn't good enough. We need to be starting to win games more regularly away from home. And it's funny how last season it was flipped. We finished 4th last year for away form, I believe. And at home, we ended up finishing something like 16th or 17th in the home table. Whereas now, we're much, much better at home, but then we're average at best away. In fact, I'm going to try and see if I can get up the home and away tables, because I'm quite curious. Yes, I'm sad before anyone comments. But let's get some more comments. Matthew, if he gets the dressing room on side and we can see that as fans, he'll start to win us around. Yeah, that's the hope, mate. That's the hope. We all want him to prove us wrong. You know, we have concerns, but it doesn't mean we don't want him to succeed. You know, even I'm someone who isn't hasn't been enthused by some of the negative reaction towards the model. But again, it's because people want us to succeed as a club and be back to where we feel we belong. So home form at the minute, we are 7th in the home table. We have 21 points out of a possible 33 at the Stadium of Light. And then away from home, we are 12th. Didn't expect us to be that high, goodness me. 12th in the table for away form. We've won 3, drawn 3, lost 5. So that's enthusiastic, isn't it? But the point is, at home, I don't want to get to the point across the season where we're going to rely on our home form to try and get... Yeah, Kai, I was shocked as well. I didn't think we'd be as high as 12th. But my point is that we can't just rely on our home form to get into the playoffs, because the playoffs has to be the expectation. Make no mistake about it. The playoffs has to be the expectation. Harry Archer. I think the only reason why he left QPR from Rangers is because he already had an affinity with Rangers, being the assistant with Gerrard. Like us leaving another club to go join Sunderland, for example. Yeah, maybe. I just think the way he left, I can see why QPR fans wouldn't have took that well. But I do get the point you're making, Harry. Lee Jimmy, you're going to get some stick if we lose Saturday's game. Hope he's prepared for it. Well, put it this way with Coventry. The last 3 seasons that we've played them, twice, obviously, in the league, drawn, then lost. Drawn, then lost. Drawn, then lost. Drew in August at their place. So let's see if we can avoid that routine this time. DJ Dave, can you see another decent crowd on Saturday, Michael? We have to get this juggernaut of a club rolling again. Yeah, I do think there will be a decent crowd. I think it's the last home game of 2023, isn't it? It's right before Christmas, and I think there will be a good crowd. I'm certainly going to be there. And look, I love going to home games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm hoping that it's going to be a good atmosphere. And obviously, I personally don't care about Coventry as a club all that much, but a lot of our fans don't like them. So for a lot of our fans, this is a big game, isn't it? Probably only secondary this season to Newcastle. But yeah, I'm going to be keen to see how Beale's coaching credentials hold up, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. But there's no getting away from the fact that there was the stick around getting rid of Mowbray and then appointing Beale, and in that regard, yeah, people can see it as a downgrade, and in that's the case, you might as well stuck with Mowbray. My suppose issue is that if we're going for cheap options, then why didn't we just give it to Dodds? I think for me, and by the way, it's not because he beat West Brom and Leeds, although that does help. It's the tactical nous he showed across those 2 games, which is something I didn't think Mowbray was capable of, or willing to do. I'm not saying just because of that Dodds should get the job. I wanted better than Dodds, but the point is, if we're going for a cheaper option, why not just give it to Dodds? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this appointment doesn't go that great if he's only here till the end of the season. I know it says 2.5 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if say Will Still became available in the summer, that we go for him again. Although it does seem a little bit meh that we're not, if it's because we're not willing to pay compensation for him, because for goodness sake, we are Sunderland. We should be able to pay compensation. The person who I wanted as the new head coach was someone we were never going to get, Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. I wanted Kieran McKenna at Ipswich, but he'd be mental to leave He'd be mental to leave them while they're in second. Sean Russell, I'm guessing he's not a fan. Disgrace, no words for it. Disgrace, end of. That's your opinion, mate. That's absolutely fair enough. You might be right. He might end up doing crap, and then obviously, and if he does that, then he shouldn't be here too long anyway. But hopefully, he proves us wrong. Peter Griffin, yeah, it was the same time Wolves started showing interest. There were also rumours that at the time the players were starting to fall out with him. Now, Peter, just out of interest, why were the players starting to fall out with him? Is it because of the fact that he was debating leaving to go to Wolves? Is there something behind the scenes that we didn't know about till now? Again, just to try and get as full a picture as possible. But yeah, as I said, Coventry, Hull, Rotherham, and Preston. I think when you look at those couple of games, I think you need to be getting at least 2 wins out of that. So we shall see. I mean, Coventry, certainly because we're lost on Saturday, Coventry arguably would probably need to win at this point. And if I'm going to quickly talk about Saturday, look, I mean, I did my own video on it after the game, and I think when you look at it back in hindsight, it's a game but it's the same old story. It's a game we should have got something out of, in my opinion. But once again, you can see the stupid goal. Now, this time, I know it was a penalty, but if you look at the fact we kept messing around at the back with it, Bristol City did what any club should do and press us into making a mistake, and then we ended up conceding the penalty because of it. So that's something that we need to stop doing. I like the idea of us passing around from the back, but there's a time and place to do it. Sometimes you need to be able to just boot the ball long into Rose Ed as far as possible. But afterwards, we had chances. Patrick Roberts had a couple of chances. We had Luke O'Nine's header, which was saved. We had chances to get something out of the game. But again, it's just one of those things where it's the same old story. So that's something that's something that Beale is definitely going to have to contend with, that we're going to have to start getting us to being better away from home. Let's have a look at more comments. Sean Russell, Michael, it's just a panic from a club with no clue. Sorry, yeah, again, it's your opinion. As long as my opinion's respected, I respect yours. Darren Elliott, got to give it to Samson with Delilah as assistant. No, seriously, we need to chat. Samson and Delilah as a coaching team. DJ, a referee said to Will Still after their Lens game, the refs are better in England. He didn't take it too well. Refs better in England, you're having a laugh. Oh, that particular referee's having a laugh. They must be really bad overseas if he thinks the refs up here are better. ALG Lee Jamies, when the next Netflix season out? Now, that's something we've been wondering for a while because it's been announced well over a year ago and nothing's happened since. I'd like to know that as well. Matthews, I believe the rumours that still broke down because he wanted his own backroom staff. Sean Russell, I'd rather have had Graham Potter, but he probably would have wanted too much. Mate, I would have loved Graham Potter, but unfortunately for me, that's cuckoo land. There was no way. Even if we threw everything at him and threw every bit of money that he would have wanted, there's not a chance Graham Potter would have come in the championship, unfortunately. Peter Griffin, I think our style of play Beale inherited from the previous manager. Good style of play inherited from the previous manager, Mark Warburton. Kai, exactly, Matthew felt like ages. Now that's a good point, actually. Yeah. Um, yeah, why did it take this long to appoint Beale? If Beale was because Beale can't have been the main target if this is what happened, because otherwise he would have been appointed 2 weeks ago. Sean Russell, I wishful thinking. Look, don't get me wrong. Down the line, when Sunderland re-establish ourselves in the Premier League, whenever that is, I don't know when it will be. It probably won't be for a few years yet. But when we re-establish ourselves in the Premier League, that sort of appointment should be realistic for us. But right now, not a chance it's realistic, unfortunately. As I said, Kieran McKenna was who I wanted, but A, we wouldn't pay the compensation properly because he's on the contract till 2027, I believe. So it would cost a few million to get him. And two, he wouldn't leave them when they're second. And again, I've got no problem with that. Fair enough. He's got Ipswich playing some really good football. DJ, they're going to have to make a fourth choice after the third season, just called Michael Beale. Well, again, time will tell on that one. Peter Griffin, what's his style like? Does he fit the players we have? Another thing I did hear from Beale's time at Rangers is that Beale didn't play with too much width in terms of attacking play at Rangers. He liked to play inverted wingers, I think it is. And he's not going to be able to get away with that here because a lot of our best players are wingers. A lot of our players are going to be our wingers and wide men bombing forward to try and create chances. One thing I do hope Beale is able to do, and Peter Griffin says, yeah, he's attack-minded. That probably suits what we want to do. But I think, again, there's going to be some games where we have to be able to do, what's the word I'm looking for? Be able to adapt in certain games and be a bit uglier. Peter Griffin, it's only his loyalty I'm worried about. Well, okay, Peter, let me ask you this then. Let's say that he does end up staying at Sunderland for the next 18 months, just as an example, right? If nobody else comes in for him, can you see him doing well here? Just purely on his coaching, can you see him doing well here? Yeah, obviously you have every right to worry about his loyalty after what he did to you. And I imagine there's going to be QPR fans keeping an eye out for our results now. But there you go. It doesn't matter about how many goals. Okay, so yeah, he must have misspelled it. I do that all the time. Yeah, so he's gonna, like you said, if he's gonna try for inverted wingers or leaving our wingers out, then yeah, that's not going to go down very well. Considering how good Jack Clark is, considering, well, technically how good Patrick Roberts is, even though his end product's almost non-existent, unfortunately, at the moment. Kai, did you see Michael Oliver yesterday? No, I didn't, mate. You have to fill me in on that. I'll quickly look on Twitter to see if there's any other reactions. Here we go. It's unbelievable. Oh God, the bad dad jokes are coming. The bad jokes are coming out, aren't they? Did you see how many goals Rangers did score and concede in his time at Rangers? Now, I don't know whether this was under Beale or Van Bronckhorst, but I do believe that they often conceded late goals. So I'm just hoping. Look, again, time will tell how good of a coach Beale is. He must have had the interview of his life. He must have had the interview of his life, mind, to be able to talk himself into getting this job, because this is, this is certainly in England, this is the biggest job that he will have had so far as a main man. And obviously Rangers are a big club, but Sunderland are massive. Kai, Michael Bowers is a better option than Michael Beale, in my opinion. That's how far we've fallen, Kai, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. What do you guys think? Okay, let me ask you this then. Does your gut instinct say there's any chance of Beale being a success here? And for me, to be very clear, Darren and Peter, Kathy and Peter as coaches. Oh dear, you've got to laugh, haven't you, sometimes? You've got to laugh. For me, I think Beale could succeed, but by success, we mean either this season or next season getting promoted. As we know, we don't have a God-given right to go up because the Championship, anyone can beat anyone. I used to hate it when people said that about League One, but I do see that about the Championship. But yeah, I mean, this season for me, the aim is top 6. And then next season depends what happens. But obviously the caveat next season is if we don't go up, even if say Leicester and Leeds and Southampton, even if all 3 of them or any 2 of them went up, then I'd say the caveat is we lose Jack Clark, we could lose Dan Ballard, we could lose Dan Neil, we could lose quite a few players, but it's all about how we replace them. Matthew Watson, definitely. He's got the ability, and if the areas is fallen down before or out of his hands, and there's no reason he couldn't be a success. Matthew, I hope you're right, mate. Like I said, I'd be prepared to give him a chance, as every Sunderland new head coach comes along. You want to give him a chance because you want them to succeed and do well. And if they don't, then and if he's not going to be any good, then he's going to be out soon enough anyway. 117 people are watching, so put it this way: 120 odd people are watching. Give us a thumbs up, guys. It really does mean a lot if you've liked it. It just takes 1 second if you've got an account, and it doesn't cost anything. As Sean Middleton says, it's free and doesn't cost a penny. Ian Banks, I don't see anything about him that inspires any confidence. He couldn't cut it in Scotland. That's pretty damning. Yeah, it's a fair argument for that. Lee J Music, Jam Sign, you'd be next manager. Yeah, Thimble Tharm and Graytham. Peter Griffin, I don't know the reasons why certain players were falling out with him. Could be tactical, or could be because they knew he wasn't committed. All I know is it was the same time when the form dropped off. Casey, just like your live stream, Bowers Best Mate. Thank you very much. Thank you. Got at least 60 likes. Should we even try and push for 100 at all? I'm joking. I'm probably not expecting it, but if you can like it, would mean a lot. But yeah. Quickly, Michael Oliver, he gave a red card to Dello for no reason. Well, it was too straight. It was too quick. Yellows, wasn't it? I believe both were for dissent. But again, it's funny how with certain referees, some give the cards for dissent and some don't seem to bother to do it. Sean Russell, he'll probably get the benefit of the doubt, but first 2 or 3 games without a positive outcome, the fans will be baying for blood. Yeah, like I said, he needs to get a couple of wins before the Newcastle game, doesn't he, really? Because we need to keep ourselves in the top 6 picture, and it'll help us in January if we're still right into the top 6 picture to try and attract good players to help us push into the top 6. DJ, I feel the model is similar to FIFA Creamer when you get young players in and try to win the UEFA Champions League. Right, let's quickly talk about the model because there's been quite a few people that have dismissed the model. I do think the model has got a lot of good things, and I like what we're doing. I think that we see a couple of years down the line in terms of recruiting players rather than just looking at the next 6 months, which is what we did before. I think in general, a lot of the recruitment has been very, very good. And I think it'd be very revisionist, in my opinion, to say otherwise. It has generally been very good from Speakman and from Harvey as well. But I say on the whole, because striker is the one big area that they do deserve criticism for. And I feel like there does come a point, and I don't know whether this happens because of the Ross Stewart money coming in, or if, say, next season, if we win the championship still, if Jack Clark sold, what happens with that money, that you need to go out and spend a little bit more in terms of getting that goal scorer. That's something we're just going to have to accept that we are going to have to do, whether we like it or not as a club. But so I think down the line, I think we do need to tweak the model. You could argue we need to tweak it now, to be fair. But down the line, I think we need to be able to down the line, we need to be able to stump up a bit more cash. Not going ridiculous because nobody's asking for that, but to be able to go and spend a couple of million extra on a striker who's ready now. And by the way, for the context out of the strikers, I like Russian, I like Meander. Burstow, I think, to be honest, if we ended up sending him back, I wouldn't be totally against it. Not because I think he's a terrible player, because I don't think he is, but I just think his confidence is just really shot, and that's on Mowbray for me as well. Because I think the Instagram post Sunderland put out when Mowbray was sacked, I do believe Mason Burstow's account liked it, and I don't know whether that means anything. But again, we shall see. And then Hamir. For me personally, I'd like to loan Hamir and Meander out in January to get them regular minutes. Whether Burstow, keep or send back, whatever you want. Keep Bruce in and maybe go for another striker. The ideal option I would like is Tom Cannon on loan from Leicester. But Ike Nacho apparently is just coming back from injury. There's Peston. Is it Peston Daka, I think? Or Peyton Daka? Can't remember. I know Daka is definitely the surname. And Jamie Vardy there. So, that's the sort of deal we should be pushing for, in my opinion. But whether that happens or not, I don't know. Pat Sanders, Ray Beale is not a good manager, and Rangers fans were booing him and shouting, "Get out of the club as manager." Celtic fans were singing Beale's praises and wanting him to stay at Rangers. Ian Goodhall, Patson Daka. Sorry, thanks, mate. Pat Sanders, that should tell you enough about Beale was sacked. Matthew Watson, 22-23 season, he managed 18 league games, won 15, drew 1, lost 2. DJ, how on earth has Dewey been dropped after Beyblading through Southampton? Well, probably because it's easy enough to do when we're 4-0 up in a game, I suppose, isn't it? He's another one who could do with a loan, in my opinion, but there you go. Yeah, guys, I think I'm just repeating myself at this point. But any more quick comments before I start to wrap the video up? Yeah, for me, I think Michael Beale, again, it's someone we've just got to get behind. We've got no choice to get behind him, and if he ends up doing, well, crap, basically, then he'll be out before long anyway. If he ends up doing well, we're proven wrong, and Sunderland are doing well. But make no mistake about it, again, like I've said loads of times in his first few games, he definitely has to be able to get a couple of wins under his belt. Colin Robson, get Beale behind him. There you go. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, don't worry, Colin, my jokes are worse than that. DJ, first press conference will be interesting. Definitely, mate. Pat Sanders, I'm a Scot, mate. Stay not far from Sunderland. Wish Beale all the best at Sunderland. You never know, but have doubts. Fair enough. Henry, do you reckon we'll get Ahmad? I'm less confident of it than I was when Mowbray was here because I do wonder how much of Ahmad's potential coming back into Sunderland it was dependent on Tony Mowbray. I don't know. Um, it's a player I imagine we should be looking at, but whether he wants to come back, I'm not so sure. Yorkshire Mackham, people were not too pleased with Tony. Look how that ended. That's a very good shout. A lot of people wouldn't say weren't pleased, but they weren't overly enthused by Tony Mowbray. And I think it's probably because of how well Alex Neil did at the time before he walked out on us. That he that Tony Mowbray, when he came in, it was seen as consolidation. And I suppose the one slight difference between the two scenarios is when Mowbray came in last season, we wanted consolidation. Whereas this season now with Beale, we want to be pushing on and trying to get in towards the top six. Whether we do it or not is a different question. But I do get the point you're making, though, Yorkshire Mackham, definitely. People weren't enthused with Mowbray, and it ended up going really well. So hopefully the same happens here from a good perspective. January inactivity, incomings, where do you think? Right, for me, I think you need a striker. I think you need to loan out at least one of Hirme Romienda or both of them. So in other words, I think you need a striker and one who's ready to score goals. I think you need. I think you definitely. I think a good winger. If someone like Fabio Carvalho could be coming back from Leipzig to Liverpool because of a lack of game time, Fabio Carvalho is someone I think we should be looking at. Him or Ahmad on loan. If we can get either one of them, great. If not, so be it. Central midfield. I think that's one of the biggest areas that we need to get another option in there because I like Pierre Ekwah, but he's been off the boil recently, which is going to happen to be fair. But then Dan Neil, I really, really like Dan Neil. I don't get how some fans don't rate him, but again, it's opinions. At the end of the day, those are the positions we need to come into it, and we need to start loaning players out to get more experience ahead of next season or the seasons after. So to answer your question, Matthew, that's probably what I would look to do, but it just depends. Mark Lee, hi mate, much respect from Wisconsin, USA. How are the lads? Thanks very much, Mark. Mental that we've got people from America watching this. Ian Banks, Sancho will be leaving United in January. I think United will keep Ahmad. Yeah, if Sancho goes, then I'd imagine they won't want to let Ahmad go. Pat Sands, money spoilt game way back when agents became too involved, but it is what it is, bud. Wish Sunderland all the very best. Would like to see them do well. My favourite team in England. Fingers crossed we do, mate. Get into the top six again, then we can see. Matthew Watson, ask us how we feel in a month's time. It could be a totally different conversation. Only time will tell. Yep, no, you're right. We've just got to wait and see how the next few games go along. Michael Atkinson, head coaches have a short lifespan, so I'll give them until the end of season 2023, 24 at latest. I do wish him well, though. Now, that's a good point. The system that we have now, the head coaches are much more dispensable. And by the way, let's get this out of the way. At the end of the day, people act like it's just us that adopt this sort of system. It's not. It's really not. A lot of clubs end up doing this. So for me, it's a dispensable one. So again, if he does end up doing crap, then he will be gone soon enough anyway, and we can replace somebody else. That's how it's meant to be. Joe H. With the official announcement is impressive, so let's see the results do the talking, less of the monkey chat. Yeah, before proof will be in the pudding with results, mate. You're right. DJ, can we sign Mbappe and Haaland on a one-game loan for the derby? Imagine the scenes if that happened. That's true. Kev Memes or Muse, I'll get your name right. Rather have Michael Bowers, up front than any of our forwards. Mate, trust me, you haven't seen me play football. Gary Walls, Matete is due back from midfield. Now, that's definitely a good shout, but with Matete, whether it remains to be seen whether or not he's good enough. Hopefully he is, though. We'll wait and see. We don't know that yet. Centre plays. I think personally we need a big physical experience presence in the middle, personally. I wouldn't be against that, mate. I really wouldn't. Sean Russell, cheers, Michael. Got to go to work. You take care. Hope I'm proved wrong. Time will tell. Yeah, we all do. Everyone who's not enthused with this appointment, we hope we're wrong. But yeah, no, have a good shift, mate. I've got to get to work soon myself. I don't have to leave for another hour, but still, I need to get ready. Have Harvey Lawson. Hopefully he changes our minds, though. Yeah, absolutely. Yorkshire Mackham. Imagine if Tony Mowbray goes to Stoke. Well, the difference is, right, if Tony Mowbray did go to Stoke, as long as it's not at our expense, I wish Tony Mowbray all the best at Stoke, because unlike a certain Alex Neil, he left with integrity and honour and dignity. I know we ended up sacking him in the end, but come on, when you look at how fans regard Alex Neil as opposed to Tony Mowbray, it's chalk and cheese. It's absolutely chalk and cheese. And by the way, if you feel differently about Alex Neil, that's totally fine, by the way. This is just my opinion. Pat Sanders, Mowbray should have got more time, I feel. Michael Atkinson, if we beat Newcastle, Beale will have lots of credit in the bank with supporters. It'd be typical. If we lose the next 4 league games, then he beats the Mags. That'd just be the most Sunderland thing ever, wouldn't it? But obviously, we wouldn't be happy because we've lost 4 on the bounce in the league. Right, guys, I think in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to wrap it up. I think we'll get to 45 minutes and then we'll sort of finish it off. To everyone who's watching that hasn't liked yet, please hit the like button. Trying to get 100 likes if it would be much appreciated if we could. It just takes a second. Click the like button if you think you've enjoyed this. And it doesn't cost a penny, as Sean Middleton likes to say. Chris Johnson, Beale out, horrendous appointment. He hasn't even. Oh, come on, Chris. He hasn't even been here for 2 hours, man. But I do get the point. It's not inspiring, is it? Jimbo Jones, Beale as a coach might be better than as a manager. Yeah, there's a good shout there. We don't know because he's not going to be involved at recruitment. He might end up doing better. Pat Sanders should maybe look at the board. Are they being blamed part for results? Went through many managers in recent times. Someone makes me think maybe the board. I think for me, again, I like what Speakman's done, but if it's Speakman who sounded out Beale and it ends up being a crap appointment, then that's on Speakman. Absolutely. As much as I love the work Speakman's done in general, I don't think people should forget it and be so quick to. He's not immune from criticism, though. And if this doesn't work, then it's on him if he sounded him out. But again, I feel that KLD needs to get a bit more criticism than Speakman because at the end of the day, KLD's the one who's like, above him and the one employs him. Let's have a look. Stephen does stuff. I like that. Reminds me of when Martin O'Neill was replaced by Paolo Di Canio. Yeah, that guy was a nutcase. Harvey Lawson, are you a Sunderland fan yourself? Yes, I am, for my sins. Carl, I think he'll be a good fit. I listen to him talk a lot and think that as a head coach, he could be perfect. I hope you're right, mate. Talk's cheap, though. You need to do the walk in terms of results. Yorkshire Mackin is completely free, Michael. Yep, absolutely. It's completely free. Come on, guys. 8 more likes and we've hit 100. Come on, you can do it. Yeah. Well, anyway, very quickly, let's ask one last question. How are people feeling about the game on Saturday? Coventry at home. Here's a sequence, like I said before, the sequence when we played Coventry is we've drawn the first game and lost the second. In 2018-2019 season, the first in League One, we drew 1-1 at the Ricoh Arena, lost 5-4 at the Stadium of Light, or as Joel says, Stadium of Light. Then the second season, the COVID year, 2019-2020, we drew 1-1 at the Stadium of Light. And then ended up losing 1-0 when they were playing at St Andrews, so it's away from home for us. And then last season we drew 1-1 at the Stadium of Light again when Jack Clark scored for us, and then Victor Gyökeres scored a screamer at the very end. And then we lost 2-1 at the Ricoh Arena. So hey, thank you very much, guys. We've hit over 100 likes. This season we drew 0-0 in August at the Ricoh Arena. So let's see if we can hopefully avoid a defeat this time. But I think we do need to probably get a win if we can. So then DJ 2-1 us. Sims is definitely going to score. It's good in the stars. Yeah, well, I'll take a 2-1 win I would take a 2-1 win even if Sims scores, because I still believe we should have signed Sims, but that's me. Declan, Egan Jones, 3-1 win guaranteed. I'm assuming for Sunderland here, hopefully. John T. Coventry, if we turn the corner, it'll be a very tough match. Absolutely, mate, it will do. Coventry are never an easy game for us. They're always very difficult to beat. Stephen, Coventry will be 0-0. Pat, actions speak louder than words, which rings true. Ari Beale, Matthew, they've been hit and miss this season, so they're there for the taking. I agree. Gary says we should be smashing Coventry this weekend, but it is Sunderland after all. I wouldn't go as far as we should be smashing them. I think Coventry are a better side than that, but I do think at home we should be realistically able to beat them. But again, you've got to earn it. You can't just go out and expect it to be gift wrapped, unfortunately. Callum Hall, hate disappointment, Bowers. You're not alone, mate. Quite a few people do. Mark Tweedy says his time at Rangers was full of awful signings. I wish Sunderland better luck. Declan Jones, absolutely, Michael, my son. How are the lads? Graham Farney, 10 years at Chelsea and 6 years at Liverpool's on 21s. I don't understand why people think he isn't a fit for us. He's worked with the best English talents this generation a lot and held them in high regards. Sean Gray, worst manager Rangers ever had. Joke of a manager, talks a good game, that's it. We had him for a year and a half. It could be, and still, tell you a style he plays, spend a load of our budget on all player rub. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he did spend a lot of money. Didn't go well, did it? Alfonso Cavallo, a great signing, aiming for top 6. Matthew Watson again, more worried about the whole game. They've been flying. Yeah, we'll wait and see with that one. Right, guys, I think I'm going to end up leaving it there. So, but before I do go, thanks very much to everyone who has watched. It's mental. This is the most amount of people I think I've ever had watching a stream. And look, Jam Sani, as has just seen, put up a notification for a video, so I might end up going watching that before I get ready for work. But let me know, guys, what you think in the comments further below, as long as it's respectful. But to be fair, everyone in this chat has been respectful, so fair enough for that. We hope it works. We hope Michael Beale works. A lot of us are getting on enthused by it, but all we've got to do, I mean, as Terry Ward said, got to give the guy a chance, but very underwhelming. It is underwhelming, but we've just got to get on with it. We've got to get on with it and do it. Pat Sanders, all best, Michael, and Sunderland. yeah, thanks very much to everyone who's commented, who's watched. It's great. And you're welcome, Ian. Thanks, Stephen. Jim Moore Jones. Cheers, lad. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed it does, lads. And lasses, if anyone's watching, of course. But yeah, uh, let's just see what happens. Case County, amazing live stream Bowers. Yorkshire Mac can keep the faith. That's Jacob Kirkbride saying, stop stealing it. As he says, keep the faith. Take care, guys. Love yous all to bits. Stay safe. And until Saturday, unless anything happens, away the lads. Love yous all. And thanks again. And thanks again for the support.